introducing Melissa from Superhero Design Co. And she is a
Hi.
superhero who is killing it selling website templates for passive income. And the first question was how she got started with this. So sorry to make you repeat yourself, Melissa. I'd love to hear so
No
that the
worries.
listeners could hear too.
That's okay. I think it was a little long-winded the first time, so I'll try to give you the short version of that.
Great.
Basically, graduated from the Art Institute in 2005 for graphic design. So I always knew that I wanted to be an artist, and so graphic design was like a natural avenue because I didn't want to be broke. Basically, got a job right out of school. Actually, it took me like 6 months, and I was only making like 30 grand a year. Actually $15 an hour, but it equals out the same, which was disappointing, especially after all the time and money you put into school and you have all these dreams of becoming, a graphic designer and all this. So I knew that that wasn't gonna, work out for the long term. Ended up starting a business with my boss at the time, and we started like an advertising and branding business. And we were working like for like a lot of like law firms were our clients. So it was like very corporate type stuff, which it was good money, but um, just was kind of soul sucking at the same time. So anyway, finally branched out in 2014. Actually moved to Austin, Texas, started my own business, and then did some things on the side to make ends meet. I was a photographer. I also painted furniture, sold it on Etsy, and just basically just kept my business mostly service based. So I wasn't exactly selling a lot of templates at all. I was just, people were hiring me for logo design, website design, branding, things like that. And then I also was moving around a lot, kind of like you guys are doing like the van life. I wasn't exactly van life, but I definitely moved around a lot. So um, created like an Upwork profile, and just kind of kept it really remote and, wasn't making a ton of money. But I guess it was enough to get by at the time. Um, Tried to dabble in templates to start with, like on Zazzle. It's actually funny. I think I have a couple t-shirts out there I'm still making like a couple dollars a year on. So that's kind of funny. And then started my business started to really take off. My branding and design service base, it was doing really well. And I thought, okay, well, I'm doing a lot of Wix websites for people. I'm like, why don't I just try to sell a Wix template? But I honestly didn't think that I was able to sell a Wix template because their platform isn't like conducive for selling templates. Like you have to do all this like crazy stuff. Like you have to, well, I guess it's similar to Squarespace. You have to create it and then like duplicate it and then transfer and all this stuff. But once I figured that out, I was like, you know what, I'm going to go for this. So I created an Etsy shop and started selling Wix website templates, and that started doing really, really well. Um, but honestly, like the transferring process was just not really giving me the lifestyle that I wanted because I was always having to transfer these websites. Um, but after that took off, then that's kind of whenever the template business started to take over more of my income in the service based business, which I was like, you know what, there's a lot of potential here. I think I need to like start dabbling a little bit more into this. So I think that that's the long version of like how my template business started to grow.
That's amazing. Thanks so much for sharing a little bit background of how you got started. And for those of you watching live, if you have any questions for Melissa, she's an open book. She's going to be answering questions on how to sell website templates, how to make passive income on Etsy, and how to maybe use your own website for selling those digital products. I actually did have a question on that. What are your thoughts on selling on Etsy versus selling on your own website? And did you start first on Etsy and eventually branch out to your website? Like, what's your relationship with the two?
Yeah, so I think I started on Etsy, but I quickly put them on my own website because I think the more avenues you have to sell products, the more money you're going to make. I know that there are a lot of designers out there that don't want to put their work on Etsy. Honestly, I think it's more of like an ego thing. Um, it's kind of, I guess it's considered like not as like expensive or like nice to put like your work on Etsy. And like, I get that you are competing with like some lower level like designers in other countries and things like that. Um, but you know, you just have to ask yourself, how much money do I want to make? I want to make as much as possible, right? So I'm going to post my work wherever I can to sell it. And that's kind of my thoughts on that.
So I'd like to get into some like numbers then. Did you start making more money on Etsy than on your website, or was there a time where you started making more money on your website than on Etsy, or does it kind of fluctuate? Like what's the relationship between those two?
Yeah, so it's hard to say because I haven't like I know I'm not really that good at like looking at like stats and everything. And I actually just first looked at like some stats whenever you told me you were going to be asking me some questions. I'm like, I already have to make things. Whoops. But yeah, no, I think that I would say that well, so I have my products on Etsy, Creative Market, and my own website. My own website makes the least amount of money. Um, between the three. So, well, based on like the month that I looked at last year, but I would say that my website and Creative Market compete for number two, I guess, and then Etsy is definitely number one.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now a lot of the people here that are watching, they want to get started with digital products, but they don't really know what kind of products to start with. Do you have any words of wisdom on, maybe starting with website templates or maybe starting with lower ticket digital products and maybe the pros and cons of each? If somebody's saying like, oh, I want to start making money with this stuff, but like I didn't go to school for art. I'm not a web designer. What would you
Yeah.
say to that kind of person?
I mean, I'm a little bit biased considering the fact that I am a designer and like that's like my specialty, So it's hard for me to tell anyone off the street to be like, yeah, you can be a designer and sell designer or, templates. I think the key would be to start with what you know best. So wherever you feel like have skills already. So say you really know Canva really well. I would start with selling Canva templates for sure, because you're not only going to have to be designing and creating these things in Canva, but you're also going to be answering technical questions about the software as well for people that do purchase it. So I wouldn't jump into a platform you've never used before and start selling templates. I don't think that that's I don't actually think that's like ethically good to do for your customers because like they're buying something that like you don't even like know what the heck it is you're selling, So that would be my advice.
Yeah, that's a good point because a lot of people want to jump in and they know that like, oh, with website templates, I can make, a couple $100 versus Canva templates, I can maybe make 5, 10, 20 bucks. But, your customer is going to ask you things and you want to be able to confidently answer it right there and not have to Google it in order to serve your customer. So that's a great point. I really appreciate that perspective. We have a question here from Lauren Kuznia. She says, do you use Shopify for your website? Trying to figure out how people can purchase from my site.
Do I use Shopify to sell products? Is
Yes.
that what you're thinking? Okay, so yeah, so I have used Shopify before, and I do have another Shopify website that's not template related. Um, so what was the question about it? Sorry.
Oh, she's just asking if you use Shopify with Show It to sell on your digital storefront.
No, I don't use Shopify with Show It. However, you can. I just don't think that it works that great with it. I use Thrivecart. So it's Thrivecart's kind of meant for selling like more high ticket digital products, and then you can like do upsells. So that it's great for like an online course, or it's great for like my website templates because they're a little bit of like a higher ticket item. If you have like a ton of products, I totally understand that Thrivecart might be a total pain to do. Um, However, Shopify is just going to be a little bit limiting.
Okay.
So
Yeah, a lot of people.
there's many ways you can get around it, but just it's not my recommendation. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. A lot of people look at Thrivecart, but they're scared because I think it's like $700 one-time purchase. Like if you want like affiliate links or stuff, or you get it for 500 or something. But some people might be scared to jump into that, so they go into Shopify. But I think you're right that Shopify could be a little bit limiting. So if you're thinking of selling on your own website, it might be worth it to just bite the bullet and invest in the software that's really good instead of trying to save some money up front and then have a headache in the future.
Well, I also think too, if you want to use Shopify, then you should use Shopify completely. Like get a Shopify website, have all your products in Shopify. And I think that that would work well for some, storefronts. Just me personally, I prefer Show It.
Okay, great. So let's get back to the beginning. I want to know, like, if you were kind of scared when you were first starting selling Wix templates, is what you started with. So what were some of the fears that were going through your head, and how did you overcome them?
Oh gosh. I think I lost all of my fear after starting my business in 2014, and doing whatever I could to make money. There's really just is no more fear. It's just basically like fake it till you make it is kind of my mentality. Just jump out there, get your feet wet. I know I said earlier, like do what you know, but I mean, at least have some kind of knowledge about the software is what I meant. But I mean, if you want to do something, I think that you should just do it and feel the fear and do it anyway. That's the motto, right?
So can you tell me about a time where you didn't know what was up, but you just jumped in anyway because you were just like, I'm not going to be scared?
Well, yeah. So basically, I would say my photography business that I started on the side, like I basically knew, well, I mean, I took like one photo class in school, okay? But I basically knew nothing about it. But I just kind of jumped in, I just didn't charge very much. Because I'm like, well, they're really not going to get the greatest photos probably. So I priced it accordingly. But I mean, I definitely did not know what I was doing.
That's funny. Okay, so what's the hardest part then when you're setting up a digital product shop? Like, was the hardest part different in the beginning than what it is today ongoing?
Well, I mean, I think that the hardest part is like it's time consuming. So like I think when a lot of people start template shops or this stuff, they're like, oh yeah, passive income, like you said, make money in your sleep. It's like, well, that's not exactly how it works. So like I think passive is, it's not exactly passive because I'm constantly making new templates. I'm constantly doing research. I'm setting up new, systems and processes. I'm changing Facebook ads. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. So it's like I'm working. So you get out what you put in. So I think that the hardest part is just putting in the time to make it good and make it successful.
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of what you're saying is, you could just set it and forget it and put some digital products out there and forget about it. But will you be as successful as somebody who's making it a lifestyle and pouring into the brand like you are and constantly serving the customers with new trending products? And so for those of you listening, it is passive income in the sense that when you do get a sale, you make the money and you don't have to do anything. But if you want to scale it and keep growing and make more and more money month after month, then it is something that you're going to pour into.
I think it's a lot of factors involved. So I mean, all year, I'm gaining followers and then they're, following, they're liking things, maybe they're interested, they don't want to spend. And then, Black Friday comes and then they pull the trigger. So, I mean, there's just that, I guess, organic followers is one. Another one would be Facebook ads. I run Facebook ads. I do Etsy ads, which I highly recommend. If you're not doing Etsy ads, then don't even post your product, as far as I'm concerned. So I think that that was big. Another one was obviously the sale. So I have a really good sale on Black Friday. So there's that. Um, I can't think of anything else right now.
I mean, $24,000 is how much a lot of people make in a year. You made that in 1 month selling digital products. That's
Yeah,
amazing. That's so
yeah,
inspiring. Thank you for sharing with some of the
yeah,
listeners.
absolutely. Open book over here.
So, how much is a show it template worth to you, and how did you come up with a price point? And what do you
Yeah.
have to say to somebody who's trying to figure out their price points?
So pricing is always hard. The first thing that's the most important is you have to realize what somebody is willing to pay for your product. Um, and I know that that's like a trick question, right? Because you're like, well, how do I know what somebody's willing to pay? You have to research. You have to see what other people are selling, who's successful. I actually looked at a lot of Squarespace templates since I know that like a lot more Squarespace templates I think sell than show it website templates. And I'm like, well, how much are these? Because what price point is, you know, the mass willing to pay? Um, and one of the companies I looked at was Go Live. I'm sure that you've seen them. They're a huge Squarespace template. I'm always looking at them for inspiration, not ripping them off, just looking for inspiration. Just saying. So yeah, so their price point I think is $295, and that's kind of where I started at. I do have some templates that have a little bit more robust features that I do price now at $395, which seems like $395 is kind of like the standard Show It template is what I've kind of seen. However, I was not on Show It Marketplace, so I wasn't a Show It partner or anything like that. And so I thought that that was a good price to start out as. But really, you just have to look at competition, but then you also have to look at like the level of your product, right? So you're like, is how, good is this product, or how much value would somebody, get from this product as well. So, I mean, there's a lot of factors in gray area and gut instincts. There's really no formula, I don't think, in my opinion, to do pricing.
Wow. Yeah. I think that's great. You just look at what's working, and not be too far off from that. You want to be kind of somewhere in the standard of stuff that's already selling. So great. Thank you so much. We have a question from Micah Sullivan. She says, how many leads come through monthly from Etsy for custom branding and websites? Is that something that you offer on Etsy, like custom design?
So I don't typically get any good leads from Etsy for custom branding and website design. The typical Etsy browser is looking for a bargain. They're really probably not going to spend, $5,000 on a website and brand. Um, so I would say let's just go with zero leads from Etsy on the custom. I don't really try to promote that on there. I think I just say that I do that more so that it gives me my product more value.
Okay. Speaking of Etsy, you were talking about Etsy ads. Can I ask you what you like to spend a month on ads, and any insight for somebody who's looking to get into Etsy ads, you know, how much to spend on a product before turning the ad off, just any insight that you might have that's really helped you with dialing that in.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think I started out with like $5 a day, $10 a day, something like that. Right now I have it set as $100 a day. However, that's not what Etsy's actually spending. You just set a budget and then you just pay for what you click. So I think I'm literally paying maybe like $20 a day or something like that. So I don't know. You do the math. I don't. But I
Yeah.
basically just at the end of the month look at how much people spent, like the total. So say they spent 3,500, and I spent 500 or 700. I'm like, well, that was worth it. So you just kind of have to look at that ratio and decide. Especially, I mean, it also depends on how much your products cost too. If they're $5, you probably don't want to spend too much, but um, I'll turn off an Etsy ad if a product's not performing. Absolutely. So if people are clicking, they're not buying, it's basically wasting my money. So I turn that ad off.
So will you turn the ad off after like 30 or 50 or 100 clicks without a conversion?
I mean, I have no formula over here.
Yeah, you just feel it out. Do you
Just wing
are there specific products that you wouldn't advertise on Etsy ads? Like if it's like a $5 or $20 product, do you maybe not advertise that as compared to like the $300 website templates?
Um, yeah, I have like $10 business cards that I don't advertise. A lot of my lower budget items I only have on there to drive traffic to the websites.
Oh, good
So
idea.
like I have like a matching thing. So like I have like a matching business card, pricing guide, website. So like the business card's really only on there to attract them to buy the whole set.
That's pretty genius. They're really smart. Another question, do you have an affiliate program? And what are your thoughts on having an affiliate program to drive sales?
I highly recommend doing an affiliate program. Um, you can, I forget the saying, but you basically, the more people that you have, the more money that you're going to make, even if you're giving out a percentage, it really doesn't matter because you're still making more sales and reaching more people than you would have ever reached before. So yes, I do have an affiliate program. If you go to my website and you click become an affiliate, I will approve you as an affiliate and you get 10% of all commissions earned for referring a sale. And I also if you request one, can give you a custom coupon code for 20% off for all of your followers to incentivize them to use that coupon code.
Okay, great. So if you're somebody who's watching this and you're understanding that you want to maybe make money selling show it templates, but you're not at the level of design yet, you can make money recommending Melissa's show it templates. And it seems like it's really smart then to get sales from there. How did things change when you started your affiliate program? Was it like a giant increase in sales or like a moderate increase in sales? Would you give a
Um,
significant amount of credit to that or a moderate amount?
I definitely get more sales because of it, but it wasn't a huge increase. I wouldn't say any change I've made in my business, I've seen like a dramatic increase. It's just basically like a slow kind of snowball effect for anything I think you do in your business. And this was no different.
Okay, great. What are some common mistakes that you see people making when they start selling digital products, trying to sell show it templates or starting on Etsy? And have you made those mistakes? How should people avoid these common mistakes?
I think coming up with something original, like an original idea is good. Maybe this isn't a total mistake, but it's definitely something that I want to say is, hey, don't just only copy somebody, make up your own thing, make it unique so that it is not only, I mean, morally right, but it makes your shop stand out and look different because your product is different than somebody else's. So I would say just really take the time and, make that uniqueness to your shop. As far as mistakes, I would say, I mean, not advertising is a huge mistake. I think that a lot of people make because they don't want to spend the money, but I feel like it's really essential to having a successful shop is advertising. Um, I can't really think of any other mistakes right now. That's pretty much it, I think.
Have you ever made a mistake with a customer? And if you did, how did that interaction go? What should someone do if there's like something that happens with a customer and it's genuinely your fault? How do you approach that situation?
I try to fix it immediately. One bad review is like 20 bad reviews or 20 good reviews. So don't just don't piss anybody off. Just try to make them happy. Just basically try to figure out what they need and then make them happy and move on. It doesn't matter if you're giving something away. It doesn't matter. Check your ego at the door. Just give it to them.
Yeah, it's not worth it to have bad reviews.
No.
Okay, so guys, if you're watching live and you have any questions, first off, make sure to say thank you to Melissa. Send her a message privately just to thank her for her time because I know her time is so valuable. But if you have questions, now's a good time to ask questions. Mike is asking, how many new listings do you do a month or in a day? How important is it to be adding new listings on Etsy or your website?
So I don't necessarily think that like the volume of listings you have is like critical. I just kind of do things in spurts. So whenever I'm feeling creative, I create a bunch of stuff, post it. I really don't have a system, and I know that I probably should have one. Like every 3 months, post 3 templates and this and that. But I mean, I'm just a creative, like, free spirited person that just kind of does stuff when I want, which is why I want this type of business. So I just kind of post stuff whenever I feel like it.
I love that. That's what's cool about running a digital business is like it's just up to you. It's your business. It's like if you don't feel like working for a week or a month, go for it. And if you
Yeah.
feel like grinding, like doing 6 months of work in a week, like you can. And it's totally up to you. I think that's like so valuable about this kind of business. Micah, thank you for the question. Our next question is from Lauren Kuznia. She says, "Hey, Melissa, do you do mentorships or calls if I had more questions about this stuff?"
I don't do mentorships or calls. I think that kind of pulls into the whole like getting away from service-based businesses. Um, I mean, like Steven said, it's like time is money. So how, do you want to spend your time? But I mean, if you follow me on Instagram, if you shoot me a DM, I always answer my Instagram messages. But as far as like official mentorship, no, sorry.
I totally understand. Your time is valuable, and you've created a business that allows you to, work without having to show up with anybody. I totally understand that. Lauren also asks, for the show it template, what do you recommend putting in for the customers so that they're successful? Like a zip file with a PDF to get the share key. What else? Maybe a video tutorial. What do you think is important for that?
Okay, yeah. So I have a playlist of video tutorials that I send. So I what I do is I have a PDF that has their site key. It has disclaimers, any fonts they need to purchase. Basically says like you cannot copy this website template or sell it in big red letters as well, which I think is important. If you've ever had somebody sell your website template, it really sucks. So you want to make sure you have that in place. I also have like bonus items, that they get. So I have like a show it checklist that, walks them through everything they need to do to launch their website. And then I also have like a website copy like helper. So it like helps them kind of write their website copy. Um, and yeah, I deliver it all in PDF formats, correct. And I keep the PDF in Dropbox whenever I sell it on my website so that like encrypted, and so it's harder to steal.
Okay, awesome. Well, Melissa, I just want to say thank you so much for your time today and just open it up if there's any last words that you'd like to share, any words of wisdom for people looking to get into this or anything that's top of mind for you.
Yeah, absolutely. The first one, don't copy anybody, just don't. And then the second one is believe in yourself. You can do anything that you set your mind to.
Okay, I really appreciate it. Guys, for those of you watching, I actually want to show you something that Melissa put together for you. Here's her website, Superhero Design Co. Beautiful show it designed website where she sells show it templates. And she actually has this Nashville template, which is for graphic designers, so that you, as a graphic designer, if you have your own templates that you want to sell, you can actually use this design as a show it template and put your products up for sale so that you don't have to, go build a whole Etsy shop if you don't want to. If you just want to put some of your templates up, you could put your Canva templates up on this. So it's so beautiful. And she even gave you guys like 20% off coupon code. The code is in the description of this call. It's Beehive. And that's super nice of her. But make sure to shoot her a message on Instagram and just say thank you for her time because a lot of people who are making money online, they don't want to share it with people because they're scared that other people are going to take like a piece of the pie. But Melissa is, she has that abundance mindset. And I think that's really rare in the digital space. So make sure to at least shoot her a message and just say thank you so much because it's really kind of her to take the time, completely for free just to share with you guys how to be direct competitors with her because she believes in the abundance mindset and that there's so much in the internet to go around. So Melissa, I just wanted to personally thank you for being here today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Stephen. I really had a good time.
Awesome. And where can people keep in the loop with you? Where are you the most active?
So I'm the most active on Instagram. It's just Superhero Design Co. So you can follow me there. Like I said, I always answer my DMs. And yeah, I'd love to be in touch with you there.
Okay, guys, make sure to follow her on Instagram, Superhero Design Co. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we are going to wrap up the live. Thanks and have a great day, y'all. Oh my God, I'm sweating after the sound thing. See, you were having anxiety. I like manifested that on myself. I was like, I'm anxious that the Wi-Fi is gonna break and then the sound. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, I think that went really well.
Oh yeah, that was great. I really appreciate it.